Hey everybody, it's Miss Thomas and it's a good day to read a book. See? I want to show you my shirt. But actually, it's also a good day to talk about a book. So I want to hop on here real quick and tell you about The Cousins by Karen McManus. I got the audiobook and I loved it. I just finished it, and it was funny because I read the review and it said it was a page turner, and I thought, well, what do you call it when it's audio? Because I had it on in my house as I was falling asleep, as I was driving to work, and then I was at work listening to it because I'm a teacher and I'm getting ready for back to school stuff. And it was a little bit embarrassing because I didn't want someone to come in and see me listening to an audiobook, but I was doing work too. And it was really, really good. So the story follows three cousins, and they are Millie, Aubrey, and Noah. And these three kids, they're teenagers, they are mysteriously given an invitation to their grandmother's huge mansion in the middle of this island. And they don't want to go because they don't really know each other that well, and they don't really have a relationship with their grandmother. Their grandmother disowned their parent before they were ever even born, and so they don't have a high regard for their grandmother. They don't really know their cousins. They don't know each other that well, but their parents want them to go because the parents were disinherited from this grandmother, and she was ginormously wealthy. I mean, it's one of those books with tremendous opulence and wealth being described in the book. It reminded me a little bit of We Were Liars, except it was not as sad. It was not as upsetting or sad. It was really, I don't know, I don't want to say that it was light because there were some murders and some things in there, but I really loved the relationship between the cousins. I especially liked Millie. Millie's kind of the smart aleck, sharp-witted, fast on her feet, very go-getter kind of girl. And so she's probably the wealthiest of the three cousins too. She lives in Manhattan, and her mother says, if you go to see your grandmother because you've been invited, I'll give you this really special family heirloom necklace. And so Millie is bribed, and she's gonna go. And then she meets Aubrey, her cousin, whose father was the son of this very wealthy grandmother. And Aubrey's the take home all the lost puppy dog kind of character. You know, she has to be liked by everyone. She genuinely likes everybody and gets emotionally invested in people. And so Aubrey goes on this trip, and we find that Aubrey has some pretty bad secrets in her life too, but you have to read the story to find out what they are. And then some of the biggest secrets come from Jonah, and Jonah starts out this jerk. You know, the two girls really don't like Jonah, and Jonah seems very full of himself and really doesn't want to be at this grandmother's place, but he ends up going too, and he worms his way into this friendship with the two girl cousins. So the book is about these three cousins, and they end up having to work together to try and figure out why their grandmother disinherited their parents. And, you know, come to find out, there's quite a lot at play here. And the parents, they were far from perfect. Turns out that they did some pretty horrible things in their youth. And so there's some reflection on the part of the parents too. I love that. Sometimes it annoys me when books change perspective and change narrators, but this audiobook especially did a very good job because each narrator was read by a different person, a different voice. So Jonah was read by a young man, and Aubrey and Millie were read by young ladies. And then at some points, Millie's mother also narrates the story. And so you hear some reflections from before they were disinherited and what life was like as very spoiled rich kids. So I loved this book. I thought it was really good. It had a little bit of everything. It had some mystery, it had some romance, it had some fashion, and it had a lot of friendship and a lot of kinship and people trying to, get along in difficult circumstances and work together. And, if you know me at all, I really loved One of Us is Lying by Karen McManus. And this is very much in the same vein. It's got really engaging, fun characters that, you wouldn't expect to get along, but, because of the circumstance, they have to work together, and they do get along. And I'm such a sucker for that plot line. So I highly recommend The Cousins by Karen McManus. She has yet to disappoint me.